Good afternoon. My name is Cameron Burke. I'm a structural engineer at Jacobs Engineering.
I'm Monica Cowan. I'm a mechanical engineer at Bureau Happold Engineering.
I'm Jordan Manning. I'm a designer at Flux.
I'm Allie Reason. I'm a software QA engineer at Flux.
I'm Jen Carlisle, a software engineer at Flux.
Yeah, we are Agua Fresca.
In case you're thirsty.
So, as probably everyone in this room is well aware, we are in a drought, especially as California natives. We see the signs everywhere. They're literally on the side of the road as we go driving by. Our reservoirs are very low, and when you go to the restaurants, we are asked if we want water, and so water is brought to us.
The United States Green Building Council reports that 13.6% of all potable water is used by buildings. That's 15 trillion gallons. And we've decided, or we've discussed as a team, is this a lot? Is this a little? How can we go deeper?
So really the question we're asking is this normal? And really, like, how do we even measure that if we don't have the data? So if we were looking at energy use in a building instead of water, this information is widely available. There are huge databases online that can tell you how your building is doing compared to others of similar size, usage, location. But when it comes to water, there's just no data out there that's well organized.
So we've taken time and data mined and found a bunch of information regarding water usage coming from common buildings all across the nation. And essentially what we've decided is that one data point alone isn't enough. A bunch of data points is worthy, and benchmarking against those various data points is extremely useful. It allows us to compare one building to another one in the adjacent area.
So the metric we're looking at here is called water use intensity. It is very similar to energy use intensity in that it is the building's annual water usage, of gallons per year, divided by the building area in square feet. So this allows us to take a smaller building and compare its performance to a bigger building, and it gives us a variable that makes sense to compare.
So what we built is a web application, which as of about 2 or 3 hours ago, you can actually go and visit the newly minted domain waterusintensity.com. And it is a web application backed by a Mongo DB database that could potentially become.
You need www potentially. So put that in front if you want to check out it.
Yeah, so we're hoping this could become kind of the de facto source of truth for water use intensity data. So just a little bit about our technology stack. Like I was saying before, we built our server on Node.js. It's deployed on Heroku, available at waterusintensity.com. We use MongoDB as our backend data store, and then we have a web client built with Polymer. Let's switch over and actually do a demo.
Try good tab.
Okay, so I'm here at waterusintensity.com, and we start by just explaining what is this new metric. People may be familiar with the EUI intensity, or the EUI metric, but WI is something that is new. So we wanted to make this interface as clean and simple as possible. Reporting water use data is still a voluntary opt-in thing, so we wanted to make it as painless as possible. So what you do is you just get started, and then here you can enter information about your building. I have a building that is in Colorado at 3655 Doe Street in Denver, Colorado. And then you select what building type this is. And this list is populated by the ASHRAE building types. So we wanted to have some kind of standardized list. So here what I have is an elementary school, so I select school and university. My total square feet is 60,404. And then I know my total annual water usage by looking at my water bills, and that's 527,000. And we're reporting for the past year, so 2014, reporting in 2015. And this is Academia, and Sandoval Elementary. And then I can ask, what is my water use intensity? And then we give you a metric of what your water use intensity is. So here we're at 7.9, and then we also pull up data that compares your water use intensity against others. So we compare against buildings of your same type, so other schools in this case, buildings in the same state, so Colorado, and then also buildings of a similar size.
And once the database gets more developed, then you can look at more specific data from there. But at this point, there is not a lot out there, so we think that those are really good starting points for analysis.
One of the nice things too is that looking at some of the databases, there's a lot of work you need to do before you get into entering the building details itself. So you go to the site and you log in and you create an account and you enter some information about your building, and this is just meant to be like a simple way to gather a lot of data, which can then over time provide a very reliable baseline, because people don't have to jump through a whole bunch of hoops, so the amount of data will be potentially much larger.
And as I mentioned before, this is all hosted on GitHub, publicly available under Giancarlo Water Use Intensity, if anyone wants to show it. It's even works on smaller screens too. Okay. And then,
So as Ali, Jen, and Jordan mentioned, you can go onto the website. It's www.waterUseIntensity.com and try it out yourself. We see impact on a few scales. To start, building design, understanding what metrics you're up against, buildings you can compare it against in the area. We see it when doing retrofits, kind of seeing where you stand, what you need to improve in the building. And we also see this for water auditing. And we also see this for facility managers and building managers, kind of seeing where they stack up against competition, understanding just where they stack up against the baseline.
It's also, we want the data to become available as like an exportable database as the next step. And we think that presenting it really clearly and really simply, we envision another page that has graphical display of all of the data, and then an easy export into spreadsheets, so that it can help drive policy change. Because a lot of the reason that the electricity data and energy use is captured right now is because policy decisions, a lot of them arising in California, other big cities that now require that data. So if we can demonstrate, hey, it's easy to get, it's easy to display, it's easy to understand, our politicians will they'll want to capture this data so they can make good decisions based around water use, which is especially important in California right now. So.
All right. Great work, guys.